Hello everyone! Today our lesson is on a quick investigation into scientific method, scientific theory, and scientific laws. Let's get started. Scientific method is a concept that you should already be familiar with from the beginning of the year. If you recall, a scientific method is when you look at the world around you and you try to come up with an explanation to an observable question. This usually starts with a hypothesis or a guess as to what the answer to that question is, and then a procedure follows afterwards, determining whether or not your hypothesis was correct. If you remember, there are certain steps that you have to follow when completing the scientific method. Can you name them all and in order? All right, now that we have covered the steps of the scientific method, let's get on to scientific theory. Scientific theory summarizes a hypothesis or a group of hypotheses that scientists have come up with and that they have already tested on repeatedly. That is your key word that you need to remember, repeatedly. So this means that scientists have had a hypothesis and they've tested more than one time. After they have tested their hypothesis, they have decided that it is true or it is not true. And another way to think of a theory is an accepted hypothesis. It doesn't always explain why something happened or did not happen, and it can still be disproven or determined as incorrect. The last part of this introductory lesson is on scientific laws. A scientific law makes a general statement about a bunch of the same observations. Laws explain why things behave a certain way, and we will get into an example in a moment. Now that we have gone over our 3 vocabulary words, scientific method, scientific theory, and scientific law, we're going to play a little game of sorts that I like to call Which Goes Where. On the screen in front of you, you should see 3 columns. On the left-hand column is scientific method. In the middle, scientific theory. And on the right-hand side, scientific law. I am going to be giving you 3 questions, and it is up to you and the classmates around you to put those 3 questions in the correct column. Don't forget, when you're discussing with your shoulder partner or your classmates, you have to have evidence. Ready to play? Here we go. Question number 1. Where would you place a science experiment you would see at the science fair? I'm going to give you a couple seconds to think about it. All right, very good. Science fair projects would go underneath the scientific method column. This means that you have created a hypothesis to an observation you have made and you want to try and figure out the answer. For example, how much weight could an egg hold? Ready for question number 2? Here we go. Where would you place Newton's law of gravity? Now, Newton's law of gravity dictates or states that every object on this earth has a center of gravity and is pulled towards the center of the earth. Where would Newton's law of gravity go? All right, you and your shoulder partner should have decided and placed Newton's law of gravity under the law column. Newton's law of gravity explains why things behave a certain way. We are pulled towards the center of the earth because we have mass. And because we have mass and the earth has a gravitational pull, we are all pulled toward the center of the earth. Last question. It is known that on June 30th, 1908, in Tunguska, Siberia, there was an explosion equivalent to the detonation of about 15 million tons of TNT. Wow. Many hypotheses have been proposed for what caused the explosion. It is theorized that the explosion was caused by a natural extraterrestrial phenomenon and was not caused by man. Theorized, but not proven. So does that mean that perhaps there could be other reasons why this explosion happened? Because I don't know if I am believing the whole alien extraterrestrial thing. Where would this situation be placed on our chart? Very good. That is a theory that they can either disprove or prove. I don't know about the whole alien thing, though. I think there are probably other causes of that explosion. This concludes our lesson on scientific method, scientific theory, and scientific law. I hope that you learned a little bit about all three of these vocabulary words and that you're able to apply them in the future. Have a good one.